Hello everyone, welcome back to another Farm Fact Friday. I am here at the Ohio State University Extension Office in Hancock County, and we are going to talk to a woman in ag. So in the past we have talked about agribusiness careers, we have talked about 4-H, and now we're going to have a little interview with someone I know very well. And she's going to kind of walk us through what she does in agriculture in a different light than what we typically think of ag. So, you may think ag, you think farmers. Well, she is going to share how she helps to educate the youth in the community and what she does with 4-H. So I'm going to flip the camera around and introduce you to Tori Kirian. Tori, how are you today?
I'm great. How are you, Carrie?
I'm well. Well, thanks for joining us. We had an interest in what women in agriculture are doing. I think it's important to highlight that, and that agriculture is much more than just taking care of the soil and producing crops and animals. We kind of expose people to those areas in what you're doing. So
Yes.
Just give us a little idea of what you are currently doing in your ag career.
Yeah, so currently I am the 4-H Youth Development Educator here in Hancock County. So we oversee the 4-H program here. So typically when you think of 4-H, you think of the fair, you think of the farms, but we have so many other opportunities for the youth in our communities. So we do some school programming where we talk about financial literacy. We have all sorts of different projects that we can do. We work with our volunteers just so that we can make a huge impact on our youth. And so this can be tied into agriculture beyond just the projects having to do with livestock and the fair. But with agriculture, you do have to do record keeping and bookkeeping. And so by doing these financial literacy programs, we are able to introduce a little bit of the agriculture with kids who might not grow up around it. And so there's a lot of different unique opportunities for the youth of Hancock County where we can dabble in a little bit of the agriculture side of things in all the programs that we do.
Very good. So I'd like to kind of give people an idea of what it took to get where you are today. So share with us what you had to do after high school to pursue the career that you're in. Did you go to college? Did you have certain jobs that led you to the extension office?
Yeah, so I went to the University of Findlay where I graduated with a bachelor's in animal science, and I'm really proud of that minor in chemistry. I started out my pathways. I thought I wanted to be a veterinarian, and after some trips, some experiences, some shadowing in the clinics, decided it wasn't exactly what felt right for me. I've always had a passion for education. I always threw on the idea of a teacher and a veterinarian. So I guess this is kind of a little bit of a combination, but not really. So I attended the University of Findlay, decided that I wanted to get involved out in the barn. I'm a very hands-on learner, and so that's also great for the 4-H program. But I decided to apply to work out at the barns as a student worker. I ended up going on to be an intern, and so I got to work with a wide variety of college students, some who grew up on a farm like I did, some who had never seen a cow in their life. And so I loved being able to bridge the gap between the public and agriculture because there's not as many people involved in it now, and it was just a passion that I had. And so after graduation, as I was trying to decide what exactly I wanted to do, I applied to be the summer program assistant in Seneca County. So I worked with Seneca County for a summer, helped plan and facilitate camps, judgings, a STEM day, clover bud days. So clover buds are those in kindergarten through 2nd grade, and found that I really do enjoy this and would like to do it for a career. So in between, I was in the trenches, literally, putting in farm drainage tile for my dad, and really loved getting to interact with the various farmers. And I mean, in here, we work with farmers, we work with all sorts of different people. And then after applying for a few different positions, got a program assistant position in Hardin County, where I worked for 2 years. Again, helping them plan and facilitate various workshops for projects, the fair, helping at the fair, helping with Serve Safe exams, parenting classes, all the things that you might not know exist in Extension, until I heard of this position this spring and immediately jumped onto it because it's the next step into becoming where we are now as an educator. So it took a few steps, took some time to get here, but we made it. So
very good. Yeah, I think all those experiences are super important, and as someone who's passionate about ag, as I am, as you are, helping to bridge those gaps between what we know and love with the public is so important. So you've taken us from high school all the way till now. Share with us just a few experiences that you had maybe growing up that led you to think, I want to continue doing something in ag.
Yes. So growing up, I was raised around livestock. We've had Holstein cattle, some other crossbred beef cattle at my dad's that we've raised out for freezer beef. And we have pictures of when I was just a little sprout, walking my brother's calves, just being out there since he's just a few years older than I am. And I've always loved being around the livestock and getting to work with them. We row crop farm, so just being around it. I love getting to work with the community, like I mentioned. Tiling, did that before I graduated too. And working with the farmers, they're so fun. They would willing to do anything for you, give the shirt off their back, crack a few jokes in the process, and so it's just a great community to get to work with, and I wanted to be able to give back to, I guess, what raised me, because I definitely wouldn't be here if it wouldn't be for my experiences in agriculture growing up.
Very good. Were you a part of 4-H, FFA, any other organizations like that?
Yeah, so actually I'm a third generation 4-H'er. My grandparents met at 4-H camp, so Kelly's Island, that's where they met. That started our little family. And then my mom and her siblings were in the program. My older brother was, and so obviously little sister wants to be like big brother and has to do it too. So I was an 11-year 4-H member in Crawford County, where I showed a variety of projects from livestock to the cooking and sewing to rope. Got to attend the state fair a few times, and I also was a camp counselor, junior fair board, royalty, all the advocation going on for 4-H, and also a few state leadership opportunities and trips as well. So definitely very involved in the program. I always like to tell our counselors and campers and all these, if it wouldn't be for this program, I would still probably be sitting in a corner not talking to anybody, because my first year counselors were like, Tori, remember you at the dock and you were crying and you didn't want to talk to anybody, you were so terrified. So again, a program that is very beneficial and can really teach a lot to a person, especially throughout agriculture.
Very good. So sometimes there's an event or an experience or a mentor that kind of leads us on the path that we find ourselves going down. What was that for you that led you to this type of ag career?
I would definitely say a lot of the people that I met throughout my experiences in 4-H, as well as a few of my professors at Findlay, you know, as you're talking about ideas of what do you want to do, what do you want to do, sometimes I'd bring it up and they're like, maybe not quite, Tori, that might not be such the lifestyle for you. But really just some of the people that are working out there, nobody really pops in my mind, there's so many people, but just encouraging me to follow my dreams and to do what I'm passionate about, because if you're doing something you love, you never work a day in your life. And so while some days are tough, they still encourage to keep going and to follow your heart, because life's too short.
Yes, very good. And that's super important in any career. And sometimes the path that we think we want to go down, like you with being a vet, it takes a turn, and those bends and curves are not bad things. They make us who we are, and I think that's important, especially for the youth as they find themselves and figure out exactly what they want to do. And for you to be passionate as a 4-H educator, you were sharing with me prior to this that it's not an 8 to 5 job, that some nights you're here till 9 o'clock doing interviews, or You may be on location somewhere else, even on the weekend, getting things done, and yet there's still office work to be done. So you have to have that passion and that drive to make you want to come and do it the next day. And that is so, so important. So you've mentioned the people in the ag community, but tell us what your absolute favorite thing is about agriculture.
I just love the way that it can connect people, and honestly, I'm one of those people that I love going out to the barn with the steers and just watching them because they are very interesting creatures. So whether they're just tromping around the pen, you throw straw in and they're rolling around, but it just says a lot about life, that there's these cycles, there's times that there's down times where you're just relaxing, steers are sitting there chewing their cud, ruminating. Nutrition's one of my favorite things, so I kind of geek out with the ruminant stomach, fun fact. But there are so many different things that you can learn from the life cycles of plants, the way they strive, and sometimes even the toughest times, and to continue to go on the end and create this awesome product. And so that's one of the other reasons why I love agriculture and the things that how we can compare the steps of life and the way that life works out. So
awesome. Wow, I think I got chills a little bit from that. Just not only being in agriculture, but understanding that what we're doing, like with row crops, with animals, that it teaches us a lot about life in general, and that's awesome that you point that out. So last question I have for you today, aside from the work that you do, whether it be 8 to 5 or late at night or on the weekends, what are other ways that you're currently contributing to agriculture in the area?
Yeah, so like I mentioned, we do have cattle at home, whether it's feeding them, helping haul them, and then also helping out at home with the farm. I saw a sweatshirt the other day that said professional perch runner, and I was like, hey, I need that because normally I'm the gopher to go find something, but just helping out at home with the family, sharing any positive posts that I can on social media about agriculture, and any chance that I get, and honestly, any chance I get to talk about it, I tend to. So it's one of those things that I do definitely try to incorporate into my everyday life outside of my work and extension.
Yeah, very good. Well, really appreciate having you on, so thank you very much. I think Tori shared a lot of important pointers. She's young in her career, but yet very passionate, and I think her energy brings a lot to the youth in Hancock County, as well as surrounding counties as well. I'm sure there's a lot of collaboration as they work with youth and trying to instill in them those excellent qualities that 4-H provides, and we'll keep harping on what it does for an individual as they continue to grow and learn. So as I mentioned, Tori is a very close contact to me. She's actually my first cousin, so I have known her since she was a little bitty baby. So it is very exciting to see her as a young woman in the ag career, doing what our grandparents did, our moms did, and now what we're doing. So gets me a little bit at the heartstrings right now. So I hope you guys enjoyed hearing a little bit about what women in ag are doing in an unconventional way. There are lots of ag careers out there. So if you are interested in hearing more about what Tori does as you pursue maybe a career of your own, like she said, she's always happy to share that. So this was our first episode of Women in Ag. There will be more as I make more connections to help bring a topic to life that is of interest. So with that, by golly, have a great rest of your Friday, a wonderful weekend. We'll check you back next week for another Farm Fact Friday. Take care.